welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video that is definitely going to be very long, but it's like very informational. This is a video that I have been planning for months. I have been gathering topics, getting feedback from other collectors and artists. I have been gathering my information and just putting everything together. Basically, I'm trying to make like a beginner's guide to reborn dolls because I get so many questions every day on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. I get so many comments from people like asking all kinds of questions, but a lot of the same questions surface every day, and I wanted to do a video that's kind of like all-encompassing and will go over like a beginner's guide to reborn dolls. And even if you're not a beginner, like not like just starting out trying to get into reborns, this is still like a very good informational video. I would recommend watching it, definitely sharing so we can spread the word and raise awareness for authentic reborns and just trying to put that out there. I have a lot of topics I want to cover today. So like I said, this video is going to be a longer one, but I think it's a very important video that I have been working on for quite some time, and hopefully you guys will stick around and listen to what I've got to say. Let's just jump right into it. So I wanted to start out with the very basic question, first of all, with just what is a reborn? Because I feel like there are some people that don't even know genuinely what a reborn is. So reborns are handmade art dolls. They are one-of-a-kind works of art. And it's not like a playline doll. It's not like a typical baby doll that you could buy at Target or Walmart or like anywhere mass-produced, because they're not. They're handmade. They take hours to make one single doll. And a lot of hard work, time, and effort goes into making each reborn doll. They are all unique. They're one of a kind because they're works of art. And a lot of people don't realize that. They're expensive because they are works of art. These are not dolls for children that are meant to be played with. And I feel like a lot of times just because the word doll is associated with reborns, a lot of people automatically assume like that's for children, that's for kids, and that is not the case at all. In the very early ages of reborning, the like pioneer artists that started the art of reborning would take old Behringer dolls and factory-made dolls, and they would remove the factory paint and repaint them, which is the process of reborning them. Those dolls are considered reborns because they have been repainted and made to be one of a kind. So essentially a reborn is pretty much any doll that has been hand-painted and brought to life by an artist to look like more realistic representation of a baby. Now, a big thing the past couple years has been fake reborns, and there are a lot of questions about the fakes, and that is a whole other big topic, and a big portion of this video is probably dedicated to fakes. There's a few different terms that we use to describe the fake dolls that can be used interchangeably, like fake reborns, counterfeits, scam dolls, copies, replicas, anything along those lines. Like, they're not accepted in the reborn community. There are some people that like to try and claim like all dolls matter and everyone should be accepted into the reborn community. They like to say that it's elitist to not include these people. And I can understand where they're coming from, but it's much bigger than that. And minimizing the Black Lives Matter movement and using an all dolls matter is insane, and we should not be doing that. Unfortunately, it is bigger than just all doll collectors coming together. So fake reborns are mass-produced, factory-made dolls. They are not made by artists, and they are not one of a kind. Being one of a kind and made by artists are literally probably like the only qualifications that make a doll a reborn. So the fact that a replica doll is mass-produced and made by a factory, it's not a reborn. It's just a baby doll. There also are a lot of questions about why these fakes are bad. They're very harmful to the industry. This is stealing the sculptors and artists' work. Replicas, they take authentic sculpts that a sculptor has spent months, if not years, working on, hand doing all of the little details to make the expression right, the little fingers and toes, like everything, handmade. They just steal it, recast it, and they're selling it for half the price, sometimes even cheaper. And the original sculptor who made that doll is not getting paid for this work. They are not profiting off of this work. And in turn, that is making a lot of sculptors quit and leave the industry and stop making new sculpts because their work keeps getting stolen. They're not being paid for their time. It's not sustainable, and it's discouraging. We have lost so many great sculptors, and I'm sure we will be losing more because it is very discouraging and it's upsetting. I'm not a sculptor myself, but I will always respect and support sculptors and artists because we want to stay authentic and keep this industry alive. These fakes are also harmful to the community because they are made with toxic materials. They're not being made ethically and being produced with materials that are going to be not harmful to your health. I'll put in a screenshot. I have seen posts from fake websites that'll even, like, they have to say that their products may cause cancer. We're not having that issue with authentic Reborns because there are laws and they go through a whole process in the factories to make sure that they're being produced with materials that are not toxic and harmful to the consumers. But these fakes, they're not going through all of that. They're not regulated. It's also very harmful to the community because it is taking away, like I said, from the sculptors, but also from the artists, because a lot of the times people will see like, oh, I can buy this Reborn for $100. Why am I gonna pay thousands from this artist to buy a doll when I could get one for $100 on Amazon? That is such a big issue, and it is so much more than that. Because first of all, every artist's work is worth different values, and that's a whole different topic that we would have to get into. But artists deserve to be paid for their work and for their time. Factory-made dolls are not made from artists, and you're not supporting any artists, any small businesses by buying a factory-made doll. And again, it's not a Reborn. It's just a mass-produced baby doll. But because people can see that they could get a Reborn for really cheap, they don't want to buy from artists because they're more expensive. And it's actively been killing the industry the past couple years. The sales have gone way down significantly. A lot of artists have left the community or have really cut back on the amount of dolls that they have made because it's just not sustainable anymore. I know so many people, many of my friends, who use reborning as their livelihood. This is their main source of income. This is how they support their families and how they live. The past couple of years, it has just not been sustainable, and I know a lot of artists have had to leave this profession to get a different job to sustain being able to live. The biggest issue with stealing the sculptor's work is that if the sculptors stop making new sculpts, we won't have any new dolls to paint, and without the sculptors, there wouldn't even be the kits for these replicas to be stealing anyway. Without the sculptors, this industry is nothing. Talking more about the fakes, there are a lot of conversations online talking about like the justifications for buying a fake Reborn. Personally, I don't think there's any justification. There is no reason you should be buying a fake Reborn at all. It's inexcusable. One of the biggest reasons people use is that I can't afford one. Reborns are a luxury item. This is not a need, it's a want. You do not need a Reborn doll to survive. You do not need a Reborn doll to go through your life and survive. It's not a necessity like food and water, housing and clothing. This is a luxury item. It's art. If you cannot afford a Reborn at that time, you should save up until you can afford one. There are also so many artists that make budget dolls that are still authentic Reborns much cheaper because they might just be less detailed and from a cheaper kit. Budget babies, and they're just authentic, but they're still Reborns, they're just a little cheaper. There are also authentic ways to buy cheap dolls that are not Reborns, but they're also not counterfeits. Because if you're gonna be buying a counterfeit doll for $100, it's not a Reborn, and it's stealing from the sculptors. There are plenty of other ways to buy a doll that's realistic but not a Reborn, but also not stealing from our sculptors. Dolls such as Ashton Drake, Paradise Galleries, Behringer dolls, Adora dolls, Kinby dolls. These types of dolls are not stealing the kits from our sculptors. They use their own sculpts, and even like Ping Lao, one of our big Reborn sculptors, she makes kits specifically for a lot of these companies to be sold as their dolls. These are authentic dolls, they're not counterfeits, they're not Reborns, but they're like the same cost as a replica doll, and they are not going to be harmful to the industry. I do not judge anybody that has one of the dolls I just mentioned. I started out collecting with Paradise Galleries and Ashton Drake dolls, and I will always support them. I have promoted them many times. I used to work closely with Paradise Galleries. I'm a big advocate for them. So if you cannot afford a Reborn right now and you're still looking for a similar type of doll, I would suggest looking at one of the websites I just mentioned. They're not Reborn dolls, but they are very cute, and they are more lifelike than some typical baby dolls you would find at Walmart or Target, and they're not harmful to our industry. Another big argument that gets made is that the sculptors didn't protect their sculpt, so it's not stolen. They actually are protected, and the kit producer holds the copyright. On the backs of the kits, the copyrights of the kit and sculptor's name and year and producer name are usually imprinted on the back of the neck. Most people who buy counterfeits are uninformed. It's usually children or parents buying a doll for a child, and they just don't know any better. That's why I'm trying to make this video and spread awareness, because if we can inform more people, we can stop the spread of counterfeit dolls. So by watching this video, sharing this video, spreading the information, hopefully it will reduce the amount of counterfeits that are being bought and sold. It's okay to make mistakes. People aren't perfect. If you or someone you know bought a counterfeit doll and was unaware that it was a counterfeit, it happens. Mistakes are made. It's okay, as long as you acknowledge that. And usually it's best to dispose of the doll, because like I said earlier, they're usually made from toxic materials and you don't know what's in them. They could be very harmful to you and your health. I would suggest disposing of them, getting rid of the doll, and going from there looking to buy an authentic doll, either from an artist or one of the alternatives that I mentioned. Now I want to bring up where you can buy authentic Reborns, because I get asked this a lot. I know a lot of people are looking for like a main marketplace, which really doesn't exist. Like with other baby dolls, there are big brand names, and that's how you find the dolls. Like Reborn is not a brand name the way Baby Alive or American Girl or Our Generation. There's not a brand name for Reborns because they're not a brand. They are handmade creations, one of a kind. There is no brand. And that's something that I think is hard, especially for parents or people who just, again, are not as informed about this to understand. There really isn't a big marketplace to buy Reborn dolls because they are handmade by artists. Usually you have to go directly to the artist to buy the dolls. Personally, that's how I buy all of my dolls. I go directly to the artists. I've been in this industry for going on 11 years now, so I'm very well informed about the Reborn community. I know so many things about different kits, sculptors, producers, dealers, artists, everything. I have so much knowledge in my head from years of doing research and learning about all of this, and that's hard to teach somebody. I spent so much time, especially when I was younger, learning about all of this, and it is hard to just try and pass that knowledge on to someone else because it takes time. When I buy from artists directly, like I said, I usually already know who they are, and I follow them on Instagram, on Facebook, or they have their own websites, and I will message them directly through those means. There are also, unfortunately, people out there who make scam pages of well-known artists, including myself, and they will scam people who don't know any better, pretending, like for me as an example, there are plenty of accounts that pretend to be me, and they try and like sell dolls to my fans who are unknowing that it's not my real account, and they take their money and they don't get a doll. And I've had a lot of people come and complain to me about this, and it's very upsetting. It's very hurtful. Like, I feel awful for any of you that have experienced that, whether it's through me or a different artist that someone is scamming, pretending to be an artist. I feel awful, and I wish that people wouldn't do that, but unfortunately, everyone is trying to make money, especially in such a struggling economy right now. People will do anything to get by. So back to what I was saying. If you don't know artists, a good place to start and just look for dolls, join Facebook groups. There's so many Facebook groups that people will post dolls they're selling in, and it can just be from other collectors and artists. It's a great way to find some dolls. The only thing that's similar to like a big marketplace for reborn dolls, I would say, is Reborns.com. I recommend Reborns.com. I've sold and purchased dolls through there myself. That is like one of the only legitimate places that is a big, I just keep saying marketplace, but that's the only word I can think of right now, but that's like kind of the only spot that is guaranteed to be authentic, because they don't allow replicas, which is great. They don't allow fake reborns at all, which is great. And so any artists and collectors as well can make an account, and then they can list their dolls for sale on there. So again, you could be buying from collectors who are selling a doll that they've owned, or you can be buying from artists who are selling dolls that they made. I do both on mine. Like, I'll sell the dolls that I make on my Reborns.com account, as well as dolls that I've purchased from other artists. If I'm ready to sell them, I'll list them on there. So it's great for that. It's literally everyone. There's all different price ranges. Everyone like all over the world can be a part of this marketplace, so it's not like just in the US, it's everywhere, and you can, depending on the like shop's different specifications, like they can ship worldwide. It's great. I highly recommend Reborns.com. It's a great place to start. Like, that's always where I recommend when people are messaging me asking like, where can I buy a doll? eBay and Etsy used to be great spots that were similar, but I don't personally recommend them anymore. Years and years and years ago, they used to be great spots. I used to buy most of my dolls from eBay and a few from Etsy. It's just not really a great spot anymore because they have been so infiltrated by fakes that it's risky, and if you don't know what you're looking for and what to look out for, it's very likely that you will end up purchasing a fake unknowingly, and we want to avoid that. So I personally don't really recommend Etsy and eBay anymore. I usually just recommend Reborns.com. Another place that you can guaranteed buy an authentic reborn doll is at doll shows. I am a huge advocate for doll shows, highly recommend them. I love going to doll shows. The past few years, I have started vending at doll shows myself, but I have been attending different doll shows as a guest since I was 14 the first doll show I went to. There are a few main doll shows that are happening. I'm only going to speak about the ones in the US, that's where I live, and those are the ones that I know about. There are doll shows in other countries as well. I'd love to have an opportunity to go to one of these doll shows in Europe, especially. But you can definitely find doll shows that might be local to you, or at least close-ish, if you Google doll shows. So about the ones in the US, there is the West Coast Doll Show coming up very soon, in end of February. That's happening in Southern California. There is the Kansas Doll Show that happens in Kansas in September, I believe early September. There's the Dolls of the World Expo, which happens in North Carolina, end of June. Those are the main ones. I think there are a few others I don't personally know a lot about, but those are the three main shows. I myself will be at the Dolls of the World Expo. I am vending and I will be there selling my dolls. You could come meet me. I have other videos talking about that, and I will be making more videos talking about that later on. I will be going this upcoming year in 2026. I haven't made a video talking about that yet. I have been slacking on videos for this year, and I do apologize for that. but I will have more information coming out about that, so if you're interested, stay tuned. I post a lot of updates about that kind of stuff on my Instagram, so if you don't follow me on Instagram, definitely give me a follow, Kelli Maple YT, and my artist account is Little Mouse Nursery. So you can definitely check those out if you want more information. But like I said, I will do videos talking about it more in depth at a future date. But doll shows are a great way to purchase an authentic Reborn. The greatest part about doll shows, first of all, it's great to just network and connect with other collectors. I have made some of my closest friends at doll shows, and just through the industry in general. Getting to meet up with other people who share the same hobby as you is so great, and sometimes like it can feel very isolating being part of this community. I know that it's kind of niche and a lot of people consider it weird, so maybe a lot of your personal like friends and family aren't understanding of it, aren't into it. Going to these doll shows and meeting up with people who share the same hobby as you is so validating, and it's so much fun. I highly recommend doll shows. Even if you like aren't going to buy a doll, it's so much fun to just go and have the experience being surrounded by hundreds of people who share the same hobby as you. It's a feeling like no other. Genuinely, happiest time of my life, my favorite time of the year. I cannot recommend doll shows more. So you also get to meet artists and sculptors, which is great, and going around you can open yourself up to new artists and sculptors that you have been unaware of, which is great. You're learning. They should all have business cards, so you can like get business cards from the booths if you like the artist's work. You could save that for a later date if you want to look back in on them, maybe if you can't afford a doll at the time. It's also really nice to get to see the work in person, because when you're buying a Reborn online, you're going off of photos, which most of the time are pretty good, but sometimes people will Photoshop or they just don't look as accurate. Maybe the lighting's weird. At the doll shows, the doll is right there in front of you. You can hold it, you can touch it, you can see if you love it, and then you can just buy it and take it home immediately. That is a huge upside to a doll show. It's also really nice to get to see the dolls in person and seeing the artists, because you can talk to the artists and they can talk about the process and like how long it took to make the dolls. It's so nice to see them in person and get to see the details up close, seeing every little hair that was placed individually one by one with a tiny needle. You have such an appreciation for the work when you get to go and see it in person. And another great thing about doll shows is that there's so many different artists and sculptors there and collectors, so there is work from hundreds if not thousands of different artists all in the same space, and you get to just see all of that. It broadens your horizons. You learn so much. I have found a ton of different sculptors and artists I had no idea about prior to going to doll shows, and I've like found them through doll shows. Highly recommend. I could talk about this forever. I cannot recommend doll shows more. Seriously, if you're debating going to one, I highly recommend, like, please do. You will have a great time. You will love it. I know a lot of people will ask, like, can you do one in this state? Can you do one in this state? I don't put on the shows. I just go to them. But it's honestly, we can't have one in every state, and we can't have one every day. There's only a few shows, and I think it's best to keep it that way because it makes it more special. If there only are a few shows, it makes that time of year so special because you know that you're looking forward to going to the show. You have this special time of year. You're going to be coming together with all these collectors. If it happened all the time, it wouldn't be so special. And also, it's just not sustainable. I could talk about that forever, but basically, I won't get into all that because I could talk about that for a long time. But there aren't shows everywhere, but the three main shows that I talked about, West Coast Doll Show is on the West Coast, Kansas Doll Show is kind of in the Midwest, like in the middle, and then Dolls of the World Expo is on the East Coast. So there's kind of one in each section of the United States. I live in Massachusetts. I'm not like close to any of those shows, but I'm closest to Dolls of the World Expo. I travel to go down there. Personally, I think it's so worth it to travel to go to these doll shows. The first show that I went to when I was 14, I went all the way to Utah. Like, I went to the other side of the country to go to a doll show. You gotta make it a trip. It's really worth it. You're not gonna find one super local, most likely. I genuinely think it's very worth it to go to a doll show. I don't know. I think it's very worth it. So don't be discouraged if it's not close to home. Like, make a trip and go out there. Genuinely, it's such a special time. I can't recommend it more. That was a long tangent. Getting back into where not to buy Reborns, because we just talked about where to buy Reborns. Where not to buy Reborns: Amazon, Temu, AliExpress, Alibaba, Shein, like Walmart, the mall, TikTok shop. None of those places. They are not going to be authentic. We don't want to be supporting. Most websites are not a good place to buy dolls, because like I mentioned, there's really not one main marketplace for reborn dolls besides reborns.com. So I don't recommend any websites besides reborns.com. Some artists have their own websites. Like I do have my own website, littlemausnurseryshop.com. That is authentic. And there are other artists who do have their own authentic websites, but especially if you're like just starting out and you don't really know what to be looking for, I'd say stick to reborns.com or through artists directly on their Facebook or Instagram. There's genuinely so many websites, and because I've been in this industry for so long, when I look at the websites, I can tell instantly if it's selling fakes or if it's authentic. But for somebody who's new or younger or just doesn't really know as much, it's gonna be hard to tell, and you will most likely end up buying a fake unknowingly, and we want to avoid that. So I really, like I said, I mainly just suggest reborns.com if you're like specifically looking for a website, or through the artist directly on Instagram, Facebook, or at a doll show. Another topic I could talk so much about, and I have made videos on this years and years ago, which are still good videos. There's definitely some updated information, but I can link some of those older videos. I've made videos on how to tell if websites are fake before. I'm just gonna do a brief little snippet on that right now, because I could talk about that for so long, and I have. If there's multiple of the same doll available, instantly, not possible, because these dolls are one of a kind, so there should not be more than one available. If they're selling for less than $100 or around $100, it's probably not an authentic reborn, because that is just too good of a deal to be true. The materials alone for these dolls cost more than $100. Most of the time, the blank sculpt of just the doll, like without any paint on it, costs around $100. So it's very unlikely to find an authentic reborn doll for around $100. Another question that I get all the time that I just wanted to mention, I get so many messages from kids and also like parents, grandparents, people that'll be like, oh, like me or my daughter loves your doll Naomi, loves your doll Mateo, where can I buy her? And I want to talk about that briefly, because the short answer is you cannot. Like, you can't. Like I said at the beginning, these dolls are one of a kind, they're handmade. So I have Naomi, you cannot buy Naomi unless I sell her, and I am not selling her. The dolls in my personal collection are not for sale. So I get asked all the time, like, where can I buy your doll Mateo? You cannot. Unless I sell him, you cannot buy him. And I think that's a hard thing for people who are new to the industry, or especially like parents, grandparents. It's hard for them to understand, because they're used to dolls like Baby Alive, American Girl, Our Generation, that they're mass produced. There's thousands of the exact same doll being sold like everywhere. It is not the same at all with Reborns, and you cannot have the same doll as somebody else. You could have the same sculpt, you could have the same artist make the doll, but it is never, ever going to be the same doll, because they're one of a kind, they're handmade. So I just wanted to throw that in there real quick, because I get comments like that pretty much every day about so many different dolls, but you cannot buy the same doll unless like I'm selling that doll. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Like I said, I have so much knowledge on the entire like topic of Reborns. I've been in this community for like 11 years. I know so much. I could genuinely talk about this forever, but we don't have time for all that. So hopefully this video is long enough. Hopefully you learned something new, or you're able to share this message, spread it, share the video so we can pass this knowledge on to others who may be unaware. I just want to spread awareness, keep the industry alive, stop supporting fakes, support authentic artists, support sculptors. Yeah, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. If you have questions, leave them down below in the comments. I will try and do my best to go through and answer, or other people who watch this video and see the comments, they could also help answer if they have knowledge. I just want to spread awareness and get this topic to reach as many people as we can. I get a lot of these questions almost every day, and I just wanted to do a video kind of encompassing all of that and spread some knowledge. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm so sorry I've been absent for so long. I have been so busy and doing so many different things in my personal life. I want to get back into doing more videos. I hopefully will be doing like a lot more this year. I need to stop slacking and get back on this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please share this video to help spread the knowledge, spread the information. It's like not even like for my own benefit. Like I want to just help the industry as a whole. Thank you guys, and I will see you all later. Bye.